Hello everybody, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto, but not today. Today I'm Derek from the Cool JDM Show. You'll notice to my left there's not Mike, because Mike is off doing a bid right now because Grant is actually having a holiday today, and so we're doing a little bit of musical chairs, I guess you could say. You can also tell that my voice is a little bit off today. That's because I'm not feeling that good. I'm feeling okay, it's a voice thing, and so you're gonna have to bear with me. Maybe it'll get better by the end of the show after my voice warms up a little bit. In today's show, and Mike will be joining us in about 10 seconds here, so don't worry about that. If you were thinking that today is just me and you were a bit disappointed or maybe even a bit excited, put those emotions into your pocket for later. Mike will be joining us soon. In today's show, we're going to be talking about our new YouTube channel, Drives Japan. We have several small updates about that. Some stuff we did in the last week, some interesting stuff, including a Daikoku visit, and you're going to want to hear about that. A follow-up on the auctions attacking us. Japanese car auctions are attacking Pacific Coast Auto, and we've got the story about that. Our main topic today is how the heck do you pick which cars that you want to get translated or which cars that you want to bid on when you don't speak Japanese? Good question, right? And then after that, we're going to talk about a single owner car from 1968 here in Japan and some information on old style Japanese plates, which this one has. So that's going to be interesting for you and interesting for me. I had to look up some stuff for that.
Super interesting.
And then your Q and A. Max specifically wanted me to say it like that. So there you go. You want me to do something, just say, Derek, do that on stream, and I'll do it. By the way, I didn't do introductions. I said Mike was over there. Mike will be coming soon. We also have Max. Max is on the...
Yes. The ominous voice from the background.
Yep, the faceless man who is wearing a mask today. Actually, before the show, I had a little powwow with the guys, and I said, today mask or no mask for the show? Now, I live in Japan, and a lot of people maybe realize this, but maybe don't. But when you're sick in Japan, you don't give your sickness to other people like some dickhead, and you wear a mask to protect anyone else from getting your sickness. And I was going, I'm wearing it in the office today, but for the show, we had to decide if we were going to be dickhead mode or masked mode, and we decided to be dickheads. And so I'm sorry if anyone gets sick and can't speak next show. If Mike can't speak next show, then you will know why. Max is wearing a mask right now.
I am, but I'm also sitting next to the window, which is a nice breeze.
And you're also not in front of the camera. Yeah. And as much as I'd like to be safe for everybody, the expressions of the face are important, and the mask does muffle what you say, and it doesn't sound as nice. So if there are people who are just listening to the audio, hopefully my beautiful voice today more than makes up for the fact that I'm not wearing a mask and I'm going to contaminate everybody in this section of the office.
And I'm just not going to talk because I'm muffled.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you are. I wonder if people can... Jesus Christ. I wonder if people can notice that at all.
Let us know in the chat. Otherwise, we'll talk about cars.
When COVID first hit, we've got a number of videos where we were wearing masks in the races, right? And where those are going up onto the channel right now. You can tell when somebody's wearing a mask.
Oh. Like I was always here. I got some funny audio with it going in it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
I didn't know what else to do.
We're done the welcome, so we're going on. So for this month, Grant is taking almost a whole month off, but only like 3 days a week off for the entire month while his family is here. And so every Wednesday from now until the end of the month, there may be times where Mike runs out to do a bid. We do have Jacob doing bids, but sometimes you need two people bidding if there's two cars that come up at the same time, or maybe Jacob needs a little bit of help with something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so call us into the next segment.
This week at PCA. Is that what we're doing?
That is what we do.
PCA. What's happening at PCA?
So your update about Drives Japan, we have an additional 10 subscribers. That's 10 people more that can fit into my Honda City.
10 people more.
You can It's double. You need 2 Honda Cities in order to carry 10 people. And so thank you guys. If you were here in Japan, I'd take you for a drive on my uninsured Honda Cities.
Unregistered. Unroadworthy.
Definitely one of them is unroadworthy.
Yeah.
One of them is very porous.
Yeah.
We have a new video going up tomorrow. We have been a little bit spotty with the uploads, mostly because Golden Week took a week of our work away. And so we are going to start the weekly uploads as much as we can going forward. And the video going up tomorrow is Derek's new Corolla 11 TE27 from 1972. It's the first look video. It's not the teaser. The teaser already went up. This one is going to be our first look. And it is me being caught on video at the time that I'm seeing it for the first time. Like, there was no movie magic. It was a real first impression, first driving, that sort of thing. So
Yeah. The first hour with the car.
First hour with the car. It's
And
pretty
being,
cool.
Being sandblasted while driving it.
A car that is 10 years older than I am.
Wow.
So 10 years before I was born, when my parents were teenagers, someone was like, that's the car I'm going to buy brand new.
Yeah.
And we were scrambling to film the last pieces for the video tomorrow yesterday. Because now it is at a shop to get shock in.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. And it needs a new exhaust because it has a mad exhaust leak.
But you don't know where it's from yet, right? Could just be
I believe it's right at the collector of the exhaust header.
Okay.
Which is the worst place because it's going to be the most annoying sound for any exhaust leak.
Yeah.
The next race after that, we're not sure which video we want to put up. We have two choices. We can either put on the Derek's staff drive his Lotus video or endurance race 5 video.
The chat should decide.
I was just about to say that. I think that's fun. Yeah.
You guys talk for a little bit. I'm going to rest my voice for a sec.
So you guys can write in the chat what you want. What you want me to hustle through in the next
There you go. Yeah.
6 days.
Which one is closer to being complete right now?
Probably race 5. The Lotus video has the whole story. Upload both at the same time. Derek, do you want me to do all the
Hey,
time?
if we can get up to 1 million subscribers by next week, we will upload as many as you want. I'll make sure of it. Max, no sleeping for that week.
Yeah.
The two options are we all drive Derek's Lotus in the mountains or the race 5 video. Those are the two options I could work on in the next week.
So vote now. Lotus video or endurance race 5 video. Please vote. You have until the end of the show. We will collate them.
Do we want to like hype up either one of those videos?
I don't remember race 5.
Our race car crashed in race 5.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Wow. Okay.
Right in the middle of the race, and we could continue the race on.
A scramble.
And we give some feedback on what it's like to have your spoiler ripped off in the middle of the race.
That happened too?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of a different.
This did happen a very long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny because we put that giant stupid wing on the back of the race car, right? And we were like, ha ha ha.
Not stupid. I don't like how you call it stupid. It's lovely.
This looks stupid, and you know, it's a giant stupid wing on the back of the car.
Yeah.
And we didn't think that it would actually do that much, but then after it fell off mid-race,
Oh, right.
you could actually feel the difference. So that big spoiler did make a difference.
Yep.
Okay, so we got mixed replies so far. Lotus video, race 5.
That's
so
cool.
Probably Lotus
Vote.
video at the moment, but we're only
Yeah, we've only had 3 people.
three people.
That's
Hey,
okay.
wait,
Vote for your favorite.
26 people are watching. So 26 people should say what they want for this.
I know. I'm wondering why those people are watching without commenting. We were
people
just
might be
saying
nervous.
before the show that most of the comments come from the same group of viewers.
Yeah.
And then there's assigned people who never comment. So say hi to us.
Say hi. But, you know, they could be washing dishes. They could be driving. Don't comment if you're currently driving a motor vehicle. We do not mind if you don't comment as long as you don't crash. So,
Thanks, Derek. I commented and crashed my car.
yeah.
Dickhead.
Yeah.
I had to say that I said a final goodbye to my Lotus. It is at auction right now. Do we have a picture of this? Max?
Also, Ricky Ho said, Derek, did you sell the Lotus yet? So yes, that's a good transition.
The car is going to go through auction tomorrow at USS Tokyo. I would show you the auction sheet, but USS Tokyo was like, no, you guys, you can't see any of it. So here's a picture of it leaving my apartment complex. And Mike is driving it there.
I would like to let it be known that I thought Derek was filming, so I tried to be funny in case and I was singing the Fast and the Furious. It's been a long day.
Hey, you were better at singing it that day than you are now. So put a little bit more effort into that.
That's the one part of me singing you ever get.
I'll sing it.
Go.
Don't.
It's been a long time without you, my friend.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I
I
put some
drove-
reverb on you, but it didn't sound.
So every morning, seriously, I turn the music on while I'm doing my morning things, and I sing along to the music. And this morning was the first time that my wife has had any comment about my singing. She's like, Derek, not today.
No.
No, it's not working.
It's not. Usually, voice of an angel. Today,
No.
too husky and whispery.
Usually the
and-
bottom 5% of good singers in the world. So my car goes through auction tomorrow. There's another car that's going through auction tomorrow that's kind of special. Which car is that, Mike Dennis?
My car. EF7 and PP1S, is your car going to auction now? Yes, it is also going through tomorrow at USS Tokyo. Both of these cars are findable at auction, and you can find them and look at them.
We can't show them here.
But we cannot show them live, yes.
Because USS hates us.
Yep.
Specifically us.
Yep.
We actually had another car exporter tell USS
They
anonymously
tattled on us.
that we are showing things on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And we had to delete a number of videos off of YouTube because they were shot at the auctions.
Yeah, auction walk around videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I only deleted the ones that USS told me to delete. There was like a list of them, but they missed some of them.
Yeah.
And so I still have some on the channel until USS tells me not to. Because they said, erase these videos. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And then just only erase those ones.
Yeah. Maybe people want to know, what is your feeling about your Lotus going to auction? Any hopes or desires or prevailing feeling?
It's been a long time.
Great. Wonderful.
I sum it up better in the Lotus video. So you want to know, you got to watch that video. You please watch that video. Share it with your friends. We need to make this channel work. Oh no. But the Lotus, and I think I can sum it up very easily. The Lotus, and I've said this probably in that video as well. 10 out of 10 car for driving. 2 out of 10 car for livability.
Yeah.
It's not a car I was ever excited to drive, but as soon as I drive it, I'm like, yes. Did you see me just about say the F-bomb?
Yeah.
It was the F yes. This car is amazing. This car is so good. And then for like the next day, you're in a good mood because it's that much fun.
Right.
And then if you leave it more than one day, it goes back to, I don't want to drive that car. It's a very strange feeling. And if you want to have the F yes feeling, just get a Miata. It's better in pretty much every way. That's my feeling on it. But
Cool.
As a car enthusiast, it's very important to get a chance to drive one of these or own one of these, just because like it is one of those cars. It's not like people buy supercars when they're not car enthusiasts, but people don't really buy these unless they're car enthusiasts, because it isn't really so much of a car as it is an experience.
Yeah.
And
Derek with the sales pitch.
it's going up at auction tomorrow. You can actually buy it if you contact
No, you can't.
us.
We can't bid on our own car.
No, but we
remember?
can cancel the auction and I'll just sell it to them.
Oh, that is
If you
true.
want to buy it, let me know.
Yeah.
I did offer it to a few venues, but nobody picked it up. But it is a little bit of a mixed bag. Usually leases are like 30,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
And this one has 140,000 kilometers on it, but it is a limited edition version. So, yeah.
Final question, will you miss it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably more when time goes on. And I'm going into a car that is not as good to drive by far.
Yeah.
The car I'm going into is like a 3 out of 10 to drive. Are you sad to see your car go?
Nope. I am not sad to see that car go at all. I am excited for the next car that comes after it. I have extremely low tolerance to issues that reoccur repeatedly after you try to fix them. And bloatware. So no, I am not going to miss the BMW whatsoever. I hope it sells. I hope whoever buys it is happy. And I have moved on.
You know, nobody in the chat has guessed correctly Nobody has even guessed what your next car is.
Nobody cares about my next car.
And we were talking about it before the show, and Mike is actually disappointed. So if you have guesses, even if they're completely wrong, throw them in there.
Yeah.
Did we even give a hint for the car?
Yeah, you said
there's the letter Y in the car name.
Yeah. I don't know why you picked that hint, but it was a good one. Do you want to give another hint that I don't know what you're going to say yet?
Pick a car name with the letter Y in it. Okay, two other things. We're going to blast through these. JU Gifu sold us a broken car. Actually, they sold us a non-broken car. They broke it. The auction broke the car.
For us.
And then they were like, you guys have to have this car. And we were like, that sucks. So we took the car in, fully repainted it, spent $5,000 repainting it, sent it back to auction, a different auction.
USS Tokyo. Are we allowed to say that?
USS Tokyo. Yeah, sent it to USS Tokyo. The car sold. It was graded a grade 4. The car sold. And then somebody bought it in Aichi, which is 500 kilometers away.
Yeah, Osaka area.
Aichi is Nagoya area. Osaka's in the Kinki area.
Why'd they send it to Osaka then?
Kinki area.
We discussed this last.
Yeah, they could have sent it to USS Nagoya. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're somewhere in between because they could have absolutely been. Somebody bought it for a pretty low price. I think that the car is worth 1.8 million. They bought it for 1.5 million, exactly my reserve price. So I was already disappointed because the car is better than that. And then they claimed on the car, they said this car has been in an accident. It's not my decision whether I write a grade on there. The auction decides whether it's a grade R or a grade 4. They'll check the car. Their decision, right?
The auction prepares the auction sheet. The auction graded it as a 4.
I can't even call it a grade R if I want to. Yeah. It's not something that you do as a seller.
Not allowed. Yeah.
Right. And so it turns out that the auction graded it 4. I bought it as a grade 3.5. It wasn't better condition when I sold it, right? And then the seller or the person who bought it is like, hey, it's been in an accident. They sent it back to auction. The auction checked it. Yes, it has been in an accident. You can return this car now. But not only can you return the car, but the person who sold it to you has to pay for all the transport from USS Tokyo to Aichi back to the USS Osaka auction to check to see if it had been in an accident. And I've got to pay for their purchase fees as well.
Oh, you do have to pay for that?
Yeah, so we're out of pocket $1,000 and we have to resell the car. So that's up at auction at USS Osaka now.
Right. Because also...
the day after tomorrow. Yeah. It is a great car. If anyone wants an Impreza, it's fantastic. I've got the reserve price set for that. Should I say what it is? I had the reserve price last time at 1.5. I think that's way too low.
In case another exporter or something is going to buy it for their customer.
Fair enough.
They would know the reserve price. But.
Yeah. And so it is certainly going to be a money-losing situation for that car. Well, and it sucks so much that the auction decides the grade, and then we pay $1,000.
When they mess it up.
When they got to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And then we call the auction and we're like, hey guys, can you pay for this? And they're like, no, this is the exact words. Actually, you say what their words were.
You want me to say that? Well, the auction said, we understand from a human perspective. As a human, we understand, but it's completely your responsibility. And tough cookies.
Yeah.
You have to pay with it, or you have to pay for it. You have to deal with it. Not our fault, even though that is our job to grade the car.
We made a mistake. Now you pay for our mistake.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is insane because the amount of times that we've tried to claim on cars for that and the auction has told us it's not claimable is...
You should have seen Mike in the office. He's like, how come it's only doable when it's someone else? And it turned out that they could make the claim only because it was Golden Week that week.
Right.
And they got an extension on the claim period by 1 day, and they could claim on that day.
Yeah.
So all the cards lined up in their favor.
Yeah.
Zaid is asking, what are the details about the Impreza color here, more or less?
It is the gunmetal blue, very cool, kind of rare color. It's a version 5 with 96,000 kilometers on it. Has aftermarket LSD and
brand new exhaust header. Well, used exhaust header, but that was changed.
It's not a header, it's a manifold. We went back to stock. It had a manifold that had a mad exhaust leak in it, so we went back to stock. Conditions really good, a little dirty on the interior, a little bit of wear on the seat and the steering wheel, but I would say that a very decent car. So if you're looking for an Impreza, The amount I'll let it go for is decent, I would say. Very, very decent.
The interior needs some work, but the exterior is fantastic now with the repaint.
Yeah, and the repaint was high quality. We talked about that earlier in the show.
Yeah. 4-door or 2-door?
4-door.
4-door.
It's not a 2-door. A 2-door would be worth a lot more. Okay, next thing. We went to Daikoku with a customer. A cool little thing happened when we were at Daikoku. I took my Corolla there, even though it's not registered yet. I took it on dealer plates. First time I took the Corolla to the Daikoku, and Max found the car on somebody's Instagram the following day.
It was actually Nicholas who sent it to me.
Cool.
Oh,
Like
so
a
your friend was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I found Derek's car on somebody's Instagram."
Yeah.
Can we and we got a picture of it there. You can see my new Corolla. I think my car looks better with a higher quality photographer. Is that bad to say?
Every car looks better if it's...
Daikoku's hard to take pictures of cars at.
Yeah.
Honestly, it really is.
However, you got one of the prime spots where people are taking pictures quite easily. Oh wait, well, taking pictures is
It's
easy.
right next to the footpath.
Yeah.
And behind mine is Max's car, and behind that is Grant's car. And so I am Instagram famous. The one time I take the car out there, it didn't get a ton of people looking at it, but it was one of the only classic cars. So those people who like classic cars were like, "Ooh, look at this," kind of thing.
I'd say it got a decent amount of attention, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a number of people walk up to it and be like, "Oh, wow, cool." It needs a clean. Badly,
Yeah, it was dirty.
because
We hadn't cleaned it that day.
Yeah,
It was also raining.
right. And then when it rained, the cleanliness became more apparent. But yeah, it was cool. I think people appreciated it, and amongst the Lamborghinis and R34s and
All of the
everything
rental
else.
cars.
Yeah,
Oh, people have guessed your car.
35s. Yeah, there's a
Chevy
lot of-
Corvette.
Yeah.
That one officially doesn't have a Y in it unless you shorten Chevrolet to Chevy.
But maybe that was the purpose of your hint.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, wow. Derek's
Daihatsu
giving away
car?
more clues.
And that is all we have for this week at PCA. So we're going to go into...
Cool. That was a good time. That was a good time at Daikoku. I wonder if people want to know more about Daikoku. We were going to talk a little bit about it, right?
Sure, yeah. You want to talk? We can go on. We can talk.
Yeah.
You guys can talk. I'm apparently not very good at it today.
Wow. You're under the weather.
So Mike, you have not been to Daikoku very often. What was your impression?
Can I say what you said? I think Derek summed it up pretty well, and that Daikoku, a lot of people before they come to Japan, they imagine Daikoku or maybe Japan in general, and this is something the customer that we took there said, like, they expected to be seeing skylines everywhere. Skylines, Supras, all of the hot cars, all of the Fast and Furious cars, all of the JDM cars, expected to see them everywhere in Japan. And they were surprised when they were seeing Alphas and Velphas and brand new Crowns. All of these cars are like 5 years old. You know, Aquas and things that are everywhere here, brand new cars. But that's what Japan is like. People don't keep their cars for very long. When you find someone with an R32 or an R34 or like a hot car or something, it might be their second car, or they might just not drive it very often. And when they're going to work every day, they don't drive. They take the train, like me. I can go a month without
The
driving my
vast
car.
majority of workers in Japan take public transit instead of driving, because workplaces don't have parking for you.
Right.
And nobody, like, some of the people who work here are okay paying $10 a day to park the car, but most people don't.
Yeah. And mostly that's for other reasons. Like, you see people dropping their kids off at daycare before they head to work, and they need their car because they got to do the daycare run, and it's too difficult to take a train and then take a small child or something like that. But for the vast majority of people, it's train every day. You wouldn't want to drive into Tokyo and spend $30-40 a day in parking and work for free.
Tokyo would be worse than here for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You would absolutely pay $30 for parking a day.
Yeah.
So back to Daikoku, like,
right. So all of the hot cars are at Daikoku. So that was fun to see for me. But I think what Derek said that I really agree with is that Daikoku has become the thing that people thought it was. The Japan or the scene that people thought it was. You get people rolling up in R35 GTRs and crazy modified cars. There was a Varis wide-body GRB there, which looked awesome. And it's like a parade. And that kind of like the entrance to the underground drift meet where the main character from Tokyo Drift goes, and then, you know, the cars are all parked up and people are all standing around. It's become that, and it never used to be that. It used to be a place that people were passionate about cars, and they would take their modified cars and they would talk to other people about their cars.
It still is like that. It still is like that. It's
a
just
little bit.
The vibe is completely different.
Well, now it's all foreigners. It's all
Right.
people coming to see what has been created for the image.
So like sorry, Max, when Tokyo Drift came out, right? They were like, let's emulate a Japanese style car meet like what you see at Daikoku, is probably what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Right? And so they made a US version, or a movie magic version of what it's like, an interpretation.
Yeah.
And then now people who go to Daikoku are taking what they saw in Tokyo Drift and emulating that.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly like the Civic thing, right? Like modified Civics in North America used to be modified Japanese style, right? But it was actually an interpretation. It was a really USDM version. And then it became popular shortly after for Japanese people to tune their Hondas American style, which was emulating Japanese style.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
An interpretation of an interpretation. And
right.
It evolves in different ways and becomes something.
I do want to address one comment from DW. Thanks to YouTubers and TikTokers.
It's very much an Instagram location.
It sort of is, but it sort of already was before TikTok and Instagram, because a lot of the old option videos were done at Daikoku. So there is a lot of Japanese media hyping it up the way that it's now been hyped up for foreigners on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that already happened before, just with the population born in Japan in the 90s.
Yeah.
And the rental cars that are there, probably 30% of the cars at Daikoku are rental modified cars.
Yeah.
When we were there, let's talk about this really quick. The police did a new tactic.
Someone
in the chat already said it, that it's being shut down quite often. The new tactic is they just turn on a little van in their little police booth saying inspection.
Yeah.
And as soon as the lights went on, it was like 50% of the cars were gone.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Is it because this is their business, right?
Yeah.
And say what you will about it, is it kind of like destroying the scene by having a business? There is a demand for this. People want to come to Japan, rent a car, and go to Daikoku, and there's a demand for it. So there will be businesses that support it. And I don't really have anything to say bad against these businesses. This is just how things evolve.
Oh, the only bad thing I have to say about that is that I believe a lot of them are not doing things legally.
Right.
You need to have a specific...
That's why they skirt out of there as soon as the police come. They're like, I'm not registered for this.
The rental cars, I don't think are as big as a problem. You register a car as a rental car. Someone rents the car. It's up to them as long as they have the right license and everything. That's fine. The tours, those you need to have a specific license in Japan to drive other people around for business.
Yeah.
And I believe that a lot of people don't have those licenses, or their cars are not registered properly. So, or maybe the business isn't even registered properly and they only accept cash or PayPal or something. I don't know, but
you can also tell a rental car by the plate.
Yeah.
You can look at the plate and go, that's a rental, that's a rental, that's a rental.
Yeah.
And they were all over. There were like probably 50, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 rental cars there.
Yeah. Very popular, and I think it's cool. Like I don't think it's a bad idea. I hope the people are doing it legally and making sure they have the right insurance so that people are protected in case something happens.
You would be required to if you were a rental car company.
Right.
Yeah.
But I get it. People want to relive that dream, and it's difficult to get to Daikoku. It's better than people taking a taxi there for sure. So
to give some alternatives, go to Akihabara at night.
Oh, the UDX?
No, not the UDX.
Well, you're trying to ruin other scenes with pushing gaijins toward them, right?
I'm trying to save Daikoku. The real stuff, I guess, happens outside in the mountains.
And in smaller groups, too.
Yeah.
Daikoku has always been known as the great big group, right? But, car enthusiasts are often in their little cliche, 10 cars or something in a car group is much more common.
I think it's cool. I hope they don't. Yeah.
I gotta say, they have shut down businesses in Daikoku for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but they have regular parking areas have restaurants and places that you can buy stuff. But for whatever reason, Daikoku is all shut down, all the businesses.
Yeah.
And when I was there, the only thing I can think of is how cool it would be to rent one of those places and have a Pacific Coast Auto shop headquartered in Daikoku.
I think I just realized why they shut those places down.
Because they want to stop people from seeing it as a gathering place.
Or people who actually want to stop for a break and for food aren't able to because the parking's full of people who are not there for the food. They're there for the cars, and they're walking around taking up all the car spaces.
Yeah.
Whereas people would be pulling in and, you know, buying omiyage or getting ramen or something on their way to their next.
But the convenience stores there sell like initial D cars and stuff like that. So they play into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And souvenirs have always been a thing for Daikoku. So why not have a souvenir shop? It would.
Yeah. It is an opportunity for sure.
Google reviews are either from car guys being like, wow, this is a great place, or other people who are like, all those car dudes blocking the EV charging spots. And, I can't park there.
I've never thought about that. That's funny. So, Daikoku. Maybe we'll do a bigger topic about it sometime.
Yeah. Cool. I know we've gone
Jacob's
off
good with that
a lot.
bit.
That's JU.
You want to go check?
Let me just turn the alarm off as well.
Okay, do you want to introduce the next segment?
Yes, next segment is our main topic for today. This is the industry topics and news segment, and we're going to be talking about how to narrow down your search. And so part of this show, we want to help you as a viewer to understand the buying from car auctions process. And it can be a little bit difficult. As I mentioned before, if you don't read Japanese, how can you tell which sheets that you're interested in and which ones are you not interested in? And while you do get translations of these sheets, there's a process that you can eliminate a large amount of the sheets before you ask for a translation. Because as fast as we are at translating, we can't do it instantaneously. We try to do it within about 5 or 10 minutes of when you send in the translation request, but we're not always able to do that, especially with time zones. A lot of you guys are in a time zone, like right now, that doesn't line up with our time zone because we're on the other side of the world. And so...
you know what our time zone does line up with pretty well? Adelaide in Australia. Almost a straight line.
You know where we don't send a lot of cars to?
Australia.
Or Adelaide.
Well, yeah.
In Australia.
Yeah.
And so here's some tips and a general process that we find is useful for if you don't know Japanese and how you can narrow down some of these sheets. So first off, if you want to follow along with us, you can go to auction.pacificcoastjdm.com. Anyone is able to go to this auction website. You don't have to have an account with us. You have to register for the site, but anyone can go and view and browse the auctions as much as you want. Quick little note, USS Auctions, the biggest auction house, they censor all their data. You have to be registered with us in order to get the proper pictures for those cars. And we'll talk about that more in just a second. So the first step, you've signed up your account with us and you're starting your browsing function. We've pulled up, I'm sorry, we didn't pull that up yet. All right. First thing you need to do is find out what your budget is. It sounds simple, but people aren't doing it. People jump into this, find the cars first and send them in, and they're like, how about this?
Can I have the mouse?
Yeah.
I think I can navigate.
It's not shown yet. If you wanted to have it on screen, let me know.
The auction tool.
Yeah, why don't you have it on screen and then you can go through it and kind of show everyone what you're doing.
Okay.
And so the price of the car, you probably know how much money you have in your bank account or how much you wanted to spend on the car. So you start with that, and you start with the type of cars that you're interested in buying. Now, to make it simple, we're just going to start with one car. And if this is your first time importing, it's easy mode if you start with one car, and it's much more difficult if you've got a handful of different cars you're interested in. So we're just going to be talking about a single car as your target for what you want to buy from the car auctions in Japan. So for example, you might say, I've got $50,000 US and I want a Toyota Supra. Okay, so that's your starting point. And now you think, what can I get for this amount of money? So you can be talking with us anyway because you've signed up the account. You're going to be assigned a sales rep, and your sales rep's job is to make sure that you and your sales rep are on the same level for how much you can afford. So you will say something like, I got $50,000 for a Supra. What do you think? And your sales rep might come back with,
okay, do you know that $50,000 gets you this kind of Supra? And then usually people aren't too far out of the ballpark where $50,000 won't get you a Supra at all, you know. but maybe it's enough for a really nice automatic turbo vehicle, but not quite enough for a manual transmission, for example. And we would talk with you through that. Do you want me to go on more?
No, that's really good.
Okay.
And so what you've got now is an idea of about what condition or what type of car that you can afford that's within your budget. Importantly, you want to be looking at mileage. So at the beginning, forget about auction grades and things like that. Focus on mileage. If there's only one thing that's easy for you to determine the quality or the price of a car, it's looking at how much the mileage is. A car that's 30,000 kilometers compared to a car that's 100,000 kilometers or 200,000 kilometers will have a very different price point, and that's very easy to tell because you can look at the auction history and you can find out how much. There will be a range. So for example, if you're looking at 90,000 kilometers to 120,000 kilometers, now you're going to know where the high price point is and the low price point of that is. And as long as what you wanted to spend is within those parameters, now you know approximately what you are going to be targeting. And if you can throw out all of the very low mileage cars or the very high mileage cars, now you've narrowed down your options from maybe 30 cars to look at per day down to maybe 5 cars to look at per day. And then when you are pursuing those cars, now you're spending less time saying no to translations that you couldn't afford or that were too cheap for you. So try to find out what your mileage is. It's probably the number one best place to start.
More than anything, mileage will dictate price. A 30,000 kilometer Toyota Supra is going to be maybe double the price of a 200,000 kilometer Supra, you know?
And you can absolutely look at past sales price of the auctions, and this can give you better information, or you can ask your sales rep. Sometimes we're a little bit more nuanced if you don't know too much about what you're buying. Like you might not realize that the Grande version of a car compared to the Athlete version of the car has a very different price point.
Right.
Or some cars will be much more expensive for a manual transmission than an automatic transmission. Other cars might not vary so much. And we're the professionals that can tell you all of that you need to know. Knowing your target price is very important to start with. Okay, so you're going through the auctions, and why don't we do a quick little search here on our auction tool?
What Supras?
Yeah.
AC Rain was requesting Altezas.
Okay.
Sexy 10s.
Sexy 10s.
And so what Mike's done is he's put the model code in there, so now he can find all Altezas that have that model code.
Yeah, don't hit search right away. As a very quick, what am I looking at, or how do I use the auction tool? We're signed in as Max right now. All you have to do is you have an email address, you press sign up, you'll get an email sent to you with your login information. This auction account is completely free, it's unlimited, it's unlocked, everything. Everything that we can show you is shown. This is not a purchasing account. It doesn't affect your purchasing account at all. If you never intend to buy a car at auction, you can still browse using this. But if you were to buy a car at auction, then you need to set up with a purchasing account with us and speak to us. So I recommend staying here, auto auctions. This is all current vehicles that are listed for sales. And then the advanced search gives you the parameters that I personally like to use. You could search here. You could go Toyota. Where's Toyota? Can I see it?
Alphabetical order.
Whoa.
Thank you. No, I don't know.
Oh, this mouse is like the touch button, so I think my palm touched it. Toyota Altezza.
Sorry, for my throat, I need to get more water.
Dozo. You can do that. You can say, so now I want to see all Toyotas and then all Altezas. Or you can do what we did and put the model code if you know it. And that's SXE10 for the Altezza. And then you'll hit search.
For the Beams engine.
Yeah, right. The special. Is it just the RS200 or is the 2-liter?
The inline6 was GXE.
Right. You can also, if you say, actually this is a good one for the Altezza. If you're in the USA and you're looking for an Altezza, you only want to have one that is US legal, so you would put 2000 or perhaps 2001 if we were a decent way through this year. Yeah.
So why don't we put in 2000? Oh, okay, just search. Well, so we came up with 14 of them.
Wait, can we show this page?
I think it's probably fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you click a US link, you can't see anything. That means it's because USS does not allow us to show photos for the vehicle. So
and there's more information on that in a sec. But for right now, we'll just be using other types of auctions. So now we picked one, and we're going to review it first. So first off, take a look at the picture of the car.
Sorry, I usually just open up all the pictures.
And the first choice that you have, is this my style? For a lot of people, this won't be, so you won't pursue this one. If you are looking for a modified one, you can see it's got a modified hood, aftermarket wheels, aftermarket suspension, original front bumper, limited side decals. Those are original dealer option. Very cool, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you've decided that, yes, that's the style that I want for the Altezza, then you go on to the auction sheet. But before you do that, kind of forget about looking at the car and judging the condition by the pictures. These pictures probably don't show many of the important details. Things like dents on the car don't show up in these still images very well at all.
Right.
And you might look at it and say, I can't see any dents. That doesn't mean that there aren't any there. Dents are notorious for not showing up, and a lot of these auction pictures just don't have high quality enough cameras to capture something like you could zoom into and see if there are dents or rust or things like that. So don't assume you can tell the condition at all from the car. That's why I said judge if the style is for you, and then check the auction sheet next to see if it's the condition that you want.
The reason Derek says that is we get a lot of people who will, and it's pretty easy to do even for us. You load up this page, let me just close these down, and you see this and you're like, oh man, I've been wanting a white Altezza.
With a carbon fiber roof.
Right. And then you click it and you're like, oh, those are sweet wheels. It has a carbon fiber hood or an aftermarket.
I love carbon fiber hoods.
Like, oh, and it's got maybe the bumper that I want. I don't know if these are an option or not.
And side decals.
And side skirts, and like, oh man, this is it. And you start falling in love with the car.
And then you send it in for a translation.
Right. And then you're like, okay, I got to know more about this. Let me see. And you send it in right away. You have to be, I get that it's easy to fall in love with cars. We're all car guys. It happens to all of us. But you're about to spend a lot of money, right, on purchasing a car for import. You have to be careful. And we will do this. We're here to help and to make sure that you're not getting into something that you might regret. But what Derek means is don't fall in love with the car. Check the sheet, because you can't see the picture. This is one pretty low quality picture of the car. This is where all of your information is. You need this auction sheet, and you need to understand how you can read it right away as best you can. We understand that you don't read Japanese, but there are some hints, and we'll go over that.
Yeah, so we're looking at the auction sheet now, and you have to be doing this. Don't forget to do it. So first thing is we're looking for things you can determine. I realize it's in Japanese and you don't read Japanese, but there are a lot of things that you can understand on this. Firstly, we're going to be looking at the body diagram.
And this is called pre-screening, by the way. If you're contacting us about your car, we will often say, did you pre-screen the car? Or when you sign up, we'll say, this is how you can pre-screen a car. And we've got a resource for that in a second. But, or should we do it now?
Yep. So the body diagram...
Okay, never mind.
Sorry. The body diagram here has labels on it. You can see A1, A4, W2. Each one of those corresponds to a certain type of damage. I know a lot of you know this, but for those who haven't purchased before, this is going to be new information, and we need, like, there are many people who don't know this more than there are people who do know it. Right. So stay with us if some of this is just repeat. The number on there is in reference to how severe it is. So a 1 is very low amount of damage, while a 3 or a 4 is the most amount of damage. So like an A1, small scratch, A2, medium scratch, A3, large scratch. Some auctions have A4, some auctions have A3. So if you see an A3, just assume it's the biggest size scratch. Could be this big of a scratch. Could be deep enough that it requires repainting or something like that.
And an A4 is like the super daddy version.
The super daddy version.
Super daddy,
love that.
Yeah.
And so we have on our website, and you will have read this by the time that you sign up, a section that explains all of this. So let's go to that now. And just scroll from the top to the bottom. So you can see there's an auction sheet. Here's what the auction grades mean. Here's what the different A, B, C, D, and E for interior grades mean. Here's a diagram that shows you what different sections mean. Next part here is the diagram notes. So A means a scratch, U means a dent, W means repaired or repainted, Y is a crack, S means rust, C means heavy rust or corrosion, X means replace, and Double X means replaced, single X means broken or needs to be replaced. And then some auctions have other ones or are less common. P is a common one, actually. It means bad condition paint. And then the next section explains the numbers, A1, U1, A3, U3. Before you buy a car at all, you need to have read through all of this. We assume you know these things.
Yeah. And I recommend a lot of people just save this as one of the tabs on your browser, so you can flick back to this while you're looking at the auctions and be like, oh, I don't remember what a Y2 is. Just go back here and have a look.
And we've been in business for 15 years now. We've taken a lot of effort and focus on trying to make this page as user-friendly as possible. So while it is a lot of stuff to read, everything that's on there is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back to the car there.
And I will say, like, once you purchase a number of cars, that's second nature for a lot of people. I'm sure there are people in the chat who are like, yeah, I've done this hundreds of times. I've pre-screened.
I gotta say though, there are lots of people who have bought 10 or more cars who are like, what's a W3?
Yep, that's true too.
I didn't know that, but you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, it does happen. Like, there are things that can be missed. The auctions are very difficult to understand everything. That's what we're here for. So even if you have bought cars before or you're very competent, I would say still keep an ear open, and you might pick up on a little thing that you didn't perhaps know before.
So to the non-Japanese reader, you can understand the body diagram. In this case here, nothing really scares me on this car. The A4 on the side skirt is the biggest amount of damage, and A4s on a side skirt are almost always on the underside of the side skirt because they, what's it called?
Bottomed
out the side skirt on something like a curb or something like that. So the body on this one is quite good. The other things that you can notice if you're a non-Japanese speaker are, and important ones too, is the mileage known or not. So this one you can see, Max is circling it, that's the mileage. If it's unknown mileage, it'll have a little star next to it. Yep. Not enough people are focusing on that and don't realize that it's an unknown mileage until they've gotten a translation. If you are looking for a car with known mileage, you need to be checking this, because especially sports cars, Skylines, Supras, a lot of them have had the gauge set changed to an aftermarket set that will it'll have like a higher scale, like 320 kilometers an hour instead of regular 180, and then the mileage is unknown, or there'll be a history paper for that. So you might want to disqualify those cars immediately. Oh, and going back to the body diagram, corrosion is almost always a no-no for people. Look for C2 or C1 on there. That's your corrosion. If there's corrosion on the body, you can bet the underside is pretty nasty too. Right.
It would be, a vehicle would get corroded on the underside before it went on the body. If you see it on the body, saving from some vehicles which have problems in certain locations, but yeah, it's worse.
And then another one I like to look at is, has the car been color changed before? And you can usually tell if it's a weird color like a purple or a pink, but sometimes you can't tell. This one here, and it might be a little bit harder to tell, but you can actually see on the auction sheet somewhere here, or you can go down here to the date of production calculator.
Oh, that's an interesting.
Let's show that.
Yeah, do it.
So you can find out the factory information about this car if you punch in the VIN here. So Max, if you wouldn't mind entering there. Now, this doesn't work for all manufacturers. Honda it doesn't work for any non-Japanese manufacturers. So if you find a Euro vehicle, this will not help you. But also Honda, sometimes you get results. There's also a lot less results with Honda. Many industrial vehicles, the information is not here. And K vehicles depends on the manufacturer, and then again, sometimes you just won't see anything. So we can see here this vehicle was originally registered in 1998
produced
November. Manufactured. No, isn't that the first registration? No, that is actually the manufacturer information. That's why we check. Sorry about that. So that's the manufacturer information for this vehicle. So it is a November 1998 vehicle. That's more of the model code. This is the original color of the vehicle, or the color code. And I believe
you can Google that if you don't know.
Yeah. It'll have like a name attached to it. What, Super White 2? Sometimes that can be wrong, but I assume that's correct. You can also see here on the auction sheet that the color code is listed. So I would say good chance this is the original paint. That's just another one for the paint.
That's the interior colors, but that's harder to find.
Okay.
Like some cars will come in black or red.
Yeah, it looks like engine code. Catalog number, I don't know what that means. Do you? No? Okay, weird. Engine code, 3SGE. This is very helpful if you're looking for a Supra or a JZX, for example, and you want to make sure you get a turbo.
Turbo versus non-turbo. Yeah.
Yep. Original transmission. This one was an original manual. That's good. You might see 5-speed here. You might see MT. You might see a bunch of different, but all you want to make sure is that it is the original transmission and it wasn't swapped from an auto, for example. And then, model name.
Okay.
Yeah. Factory information.
And the last thing I like to do before asking for a translation is see if this car has been at auction before. Now there's a little link on here that you can do that says, has this car been in auction before? And you can click that. And this isn't always 100% accurate, but if a car with matching mileage, matching year, and same color have been at auction in the last 3 months, it'll show up there. So sometimes you'll have 2 cars with those 3 matching points and there will be a false positive, but you can usually check the VIN number then and see if it actually has been up, or you can ask us because we know how to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I was actually hoping this one would have had previous listing, but
if a car has been up at auction previously, you can see if the car has gone unsold last week or if it's maybe been up for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 weeks at auction. That'll give you a little bit of information knowing that the seller probably is looking for too much for the car. If the reserve price is too high, it won't sell until the seller gets what they want, which is usually you're overpaying for the car. It can also show you a car that has sold in the past. There are people who buy cars from auction, send it to a different auction, and sell it for profit. You might not want to buy one of those cars because those people are looking to flip for profit. So number one, F those people.
Yeah.
And then secondly, do you really want to pay for their profit? Gross. And then thirdly, they always have high reserve price for their strategy, which means you're also overpaying for that car.
Yeah.
So this is something I usually check for all the cars I want to bid on. I don't want to deal with those cars. I don't think it's a good value proposition.
It does make sense sometimes. Yes, Max, that is my foot. It makes sense sometimes if you're like, oh, I happened to miss that car when it was at auction, but it is the perfect car for me. I wasn't going to pay as much as they want for it, but I gotta have it. Like, and it makes sense as long as that's an eyes wide open decision, not I'll just pay the extra. Like, it must meet some certain criteria, like it's very rare or hard to come by, or it's got the special hood and bumpers that you're looking for, and it's worth extra to you, and you put value on that. So
the last thing I want to mention too is the notes. Now, of course, you can't read Japanese, but you can infer this. This section here on pretty much all auction sheets is sales points. These are notes that the seller writes about things that are exciting about the car. In this case, 6-speed manual, Kakimoto exhaust, aftermarket hood, aftermarket wheels, driver's seat is a Recaro seat, and a sunroof. Now, you can't understand that, but if there are more notes here, the seller's more excited, i.e. probably more aftermarket parts on the car. Same thing goes with this. This is the note section. It's written by the seller, basically the same thing. This section here is the report section. This is the auction inspector and is reporting notes about something that's damaged on the car. Likewise, if there are lots of notes here, that's lots of damage on the car. So while you don't know exactly what kind of damage, if you're looking for a car that's not very damaged, you want to see few notes here. If you want to buy a car and your the amount you want to spend on the car is on the lower end, you're probably looking for cars with lots of notes here. That makes sense?
Yeah, that is the most important section of the auction sheet. The more notes there are, the more damage the inspector has found.
And in this case here, I'll just translate it just so that you know. It says audio audio is broken. Steering, the panel has been removed, leaving a hole. Audio doesn't work, panel removed, leaving a hole. Aftermarket shift knob and aftermarket steering wheel, wheels scratched, various scratches and dents. You guys have probably seen me do these on the regular inspection videos. End panel and rear floor, small dent, and right front inner panel has a slight dent. So it has been bumped, but it's not an R grade because nothing has been repaired there. It's just maybe some misalignment in the front as a result of that.
That's not underside rust there, that little character.
No.
Okay. I was going to mention something, but I won't.
And exterior's paint has some parts paint faded. So conditions not terrible, but I'd say it's about middle of the range for this. And the paint fade is probably on that carbon fiber hood because you can see it in the picture.
I think FRP hood. Does it say carbon fiber hood?
Oh, it didn't say.
Yeah.
No.
I don't. The Yahoo Auctions special hood for 50,000 yen.
Yeah, not an expensive one, and I wondered if that was like sticker marks that have come off, but I don't know. It could just be bad paint. Anyways.
Okay, so if you are looking for a mildly modified Altezza that's a middle price, or maybe a little on the lower end, this one fits the bill. So then you would decide, I'll send that one in for a translation, and then you wait your 5 or 10 minutes or longer, depending on how busy we are, to get your translation back, and then you check the translation. We've got a screen there to show. And so right here, this is just a screenshot of an auction sheet and our version of a translation for it. This is one that we translated today for somebody. So this is what it all looks like. You can just read it in English, and you'll have a copy of that sent to your email, so it's easy to refer back to. Usually you'll get this on the same day of auction or up to 3 or 4 days before the auction, and you can decide or compare side by side which cars that you're interested in. Don't have to make a decision right away if you want to bid on it, but once you decide if you want to bid, or after you've gotten 4 or 5 translations, you can compare, decide which ones you want to bid on, send the bid in, and we will set the bid for the car. So all is good there. I want to talk briefly about USS auctions. USS, the auction house, is the biggest one. 70 or 80% of our sales go through USS auctions because they're the biggest. Most sellers of high quality cars are sending their cars to USS auctions. That means the good cars are at the expensive auction. Shogunai, or it can't be helped.
Can't be helped, yeah. Also, a reason is that more eyes. USS Tokyo tomorrow is the biggest auction. That's why Derek and I both send our cars there. We want as many buyers as possible to see our cars, to hopefully bid against each other and win. It doesn't always work. The fees are higher at USS Tokyo. We had to pay more for transport to get there. But yeah.
So you'll notice that USS, that's my car. Where are we? Find me the USS. Thank you. Can I go back?
Yes, you can do whatever you want.
I don't know where the go back button is.
You'll have to go to advanced search again, I think. This opens, that one.
That's the one I want. So you'll notice this one here. This is at USS Kobe, and it's got one not even picture.
Yeah.
A lot of people are seeing this for the first time and not realizing what's happening. USS is censoring this, and you have to get the pictures from us. You have to be registered in order to get pictures, because we have to clip the pictures out and send it to you, and it actually takes a very long time to get that done. There are 2 options here. You find cars like this, you can't pre-screen them, so you have to ask us for the pictures. We'll clip the pictures, we'll send them to you, and then you can start your pre-screen process. Am I getting you sick? I hope not.
I don't think so, just something in my throat.
It's cumbersome and it's lame. There is a way around this, though. The reason why USS censors this is because they sell a very expensive version where you pay a monthly fee in order to be able to see all of this data, and you can get that from us. You say, I would like to be a Ninja. The name of the service is Ninja, and you can pay a monthly fee of 1,900 yen, and then you get to be able to see all of the USS cars and stuff. You decide if it's worth it to do that. If you don't want to pay that, we'll send you the pictures of the cars. But it is way, way, way easier, especially if you're doing this for a business.
Yeah. Almost necessary for a business, I would say, because otherwise you're waiting for us to be awake and online in Japan time.
You're giving yourself way, way, way more work for 3% of the cost of one car sale.
The cost is 1,900 yen per month at the moment for the subscription. We have a number of customers who have used it in the past, a number who do use it currently. It makes a lot of sense. It's not that expensive if you're buying multiple cars, but if you're buying it just to buy one car, it increases your price.
I would still do it. Browsing cars, and because the best cars are at USS, you want to be able to browse against every car that's available. So I would absolutely do it.
And then, like, if you've got a job as well and you only have a limited amount of time during your day to search, and that's a time when we're not online, we can't send you the photos back at the right time. So $15.
I feel so uncomfortable not wearing a mask when I'm sick.
Oh, it's all right. We did
a powwow and we decided no mask.
Yeah. Yeah, it is available if you would like it. I have to say we don't like Ninja.
Don't say that. The USS Yakuza is going to come after us.
That's all right. If I disappear mysteriously, you'll know what happened to me. At the same time that USS stopped allowing people to see photos publicly, the Ninja system came out. So it was a all-in-one decision by them.
Love you.
So no, you can no longer see our photos. Yes, you have to pay for it. And there'll be some people in the chat right now who do have Ninja and do use it and do love it. Yes, there are some annoying things about Ninja, but although it's not perfect, it's a heck of a lot better than not being able to see any photos until we're online in Japan. Sorry, a little bit of a
recap here, because we just went over a lot of information. Number one, determine the target condition of the car. To do that, you need to know how much you want to spend on the car. Number two, find cars that are within that target, not ones that are lower mileage or ones that are higher mileage.
Criteria that fits your budget.
Review the body diagram first on every auction sheet. Send in translations for the ones that you're interested in and receive them back. Review the translation and find out how the condition of that car is going to affect the price. Clean body, not very many nasty notes, expect to pay more. Nasty body, expect to pay less. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Then decide, is this car for me? And if yes, then you get to bid on it. And you get to choose how much that you bid. And then you bid a certain amount, will likely win for less than that amount. You might bid $10,000.
Providing your bid is appropriate.
Right. If you are bidding low on everything, you will never win it for less than the amount. Yeah. You'll probably win a bad car too.
Yeah.
That's not in today's.
Yes.
And just quickly, grade 4 does not necessarily mean a good car. You can't just say, it's grade 4, so why does it have this?
Yeah.
We hear that day in and day out. That is normal. And the reason why, and I got to say this, the grading system, Jesus, the grading system is meant for the 99% of cars that are 1 to 8 years old.
Yeah.
At auction. They're not meant for 25-year-old cars. So the grading system is a bit of a band-aid for those cars. It's not really suitable. It's more suitable for the 3-year-old car.
Yeah.
That the auction, that's the meat and potatoes of how they do their business.
Yeah.
What we do is a very small minority. We're doing the 15 to 25-year-old cars.
Yeah, specialty cars, classic cars, modified cars, not the 100 or so Alphards, Aquas, Velfires.
All Alphards.
Tons of Alphards.
There's probably 1,000 of them at auction in a week.
C classes as well. Just every C class in Japan goes through auctions.
It's a Mercedes I absolutely don't like. I'd prefer a 1 Series over a C class any day of the week.
I will not buy another BMW ever.
Okay, next segment. So we from here we're going to talk about our auction picks and our dealer picks, and then the Q&A. So we'll burn through the auction and dealer picks a little quick here. Right. The first one though, I'm really excited to show because I've never seen this before at auction.
Before we go to the next one, the people in the chat, we will answer questions and comments later.
In the Q&A section, which is up after this. So if you have questions,
post them now and we'll pull them out.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, next segment.
Auction and dealer picks. I saw your finger over the reverb and I was like, oh, announcement time. I'm like laser-eyed on that reverb button.
So we picked out 2 auction cars and 2 dealer cars that are up at auction. Yes, you can buy any of these if you're interested. This one here, just show the picture of the front of the car. There it is. Okay, so this is a Nissan Laurel. To those who don't know, the Laurel is the luxury Skyline. Basically the same running year, same engines, slightly longer wheelbase, made to be a higher end version of the Skyline. This is the first generation and the first year of the first generation. The car is not in great condition. We could go over the auction inspection sheet if we had more time, but we don't. So I'm sorry about that. It's rusty and gross. Found the car for sale. It's $7,000 US. Not bad, but it is in really rough, rusty condition. Yeah. It's from Sapporo, the northern area. Reason why I want to talk about this. There you go. See the C2? If you're not looking at rust, you can throw this one off of the list right away.
Immediately.
The reason I want to talk about this has to do with the license plate on the car. You'll notice that the license plate has the number 5 there.
Why so few digits, Derek?
1968 was the final year of these license plates. This license plate has been on since then, meaning it has been registered in the same city since then, very likely to the same person. So 58 years, the same person has owned this car most likely, or it's been registered in the same city, right? Very, very crazy. But the one digit there in 1967, and I'll explain why that's important in a second, from 1967 to 1999 had 2. And then from 1999 to 2022 had 3 digits. And then just 2 years ago, they changed to 3 digits with one of them being a Roman letter. So you can tell the age of the registration based on the plate. And you just don't see plates with a single digit anymore. I've probably seen this 5 or 6 times in my nearly 20 years in Japan.
Yeah, very rare.
Because people just don't own a car for, has to be at this time 58 years or longer.
Yeah.
You have to have owned the car. That's insane. Absolutely insane.
So there you have a few things there, right? The car has to have survived that long, and then the same person has to have owned it in the same place. Or within the
same city.
Right. Yeah, it has to have stayed in the same place, survived, and is now being sold.
Right.
Because all of those 3 things together is very uncommon. Like, I'm sorry, but I said this to you earlier. A person selling this car has most likely died. Like,
That's true.
I mean, if you've had this car, if it is a one-owner car for this long, like, why would you sell it now? Well, what reason would you have for just not keeping it for the rest of your life, effectively? Like, you probably have memories of your grandchildren or your children, and like a special car. You probably remember the day you bought it at the
he couldn't
dealership.
sell it.
Yeah.
And this is the very first year of the Laurel. And so he was like, oh, I've never seen the brand Laurel before.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, I mean, not everyone, but everyone in Japan knows the Laurel brand, but like it was a brand new first year of production.
Yeah.
And Nissan was like, here's our, here's a luxury Skyline that you can buy. And this guy's like, yes, that. And yes, that for the next 5 decades.
Yeah. Amazing.
Cool, right?
For those 5 decades, mileage unknown.
It is mileage, but it was a 5-digit odometer. It's probably 184,000 kilometers. Okay, so there is that.
I want to say so much more about this, but
if you buy this car from auction, you can get the license plate.
that is true.
You would
most
be
likely
the only person in the U.S. that has this series of license plate if you buy the car. Might be worth the $8,000 to buy the car. Put the car in a shed or something.
Maybe.
Probably have the only first generation Laurel in the States.
Yeah. Oh man, I just want to talk about this for a long time because I think it could be really cool. But the person who would be into buying this and keeping this and who would want the original number plate and everything like that is a very, very niche person. There's maybe, I don't know, a handful of people who would care to do something like
and
this.
live in Sapporo.
Yeah.
Let's go on to our next pick now.
Is that a Supra?
The only reason we
to
picked
do it.
this as a pick is because it looks good on the thumbnail. It is not an original of this color, but you could get this color for Supras, and it looks beautiful. Oh my gosh, Supras are stupid cars to buy right now because they're expensive, and
they only go up.
Modern cars are generally better. I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Like these cars, $100,000 easily for a very nice condition one can be $100,000, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of cars, a lot of great cars you can buy for that same amount of money.
Yeah.
And many of them are in rough condition because they're 30-year-old cars.
Yep, we have problems with them.
We don't sell too many of them.
No, but the amount that we sell versus the amount we have problems for is fairly a good percentage.
Because most of the people who buy them are buying at the bottom of the range because they're so expensive.
Yep.
They're like, I'm not spending $70,000 on a Supra. I got 50.
Yeah. And fair. I understand. I was saying to Derek when we were at Daikoku, there was a couple of really nice, I don't know if they were really nice Supras. There were a couple of Supras that I just looked at and something inside of me was like, we do want a Supra, don't we?
Oh,
there is something.
Is that a
do
hint?
drive really well.
Yeah.
Is that a hint?
Maybe that's your hint for
There's
this
no
week.
letter Y in the name Supra.
How about a Supira? Never mind.
Go to the auction sheet real quick.
Yep.
If you don't know Japanese, here's what you can determine. the P1 on the sheet means bad paint on one fender. Probably not a big problem on both front fenders. There's an X2 on there. You have to move the tool tip away. Move the cursor off of the sheet.
Off the sheet.
Off the sheet.
Yeah.
The X2 means the front bumper's cracked. X2 means it has to be replaced level 2. So probably a crack about that big or something.
Nasty.
In the front bumper. The rest of the body's looking fine. A U2, probably not the worst thing. The report section there has several notes. This one, considering the age, it's not completely full. It's probably not too bad. So I would send this one in if I was looking for a Supra. It's also the RZS, which means it's the twin turbo, but the cheap version of the twin turbo. It was like the stripped down version.
Yeah.
Sort of like the RA version of the Impreza.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know the difference for the RZS. All I know that it has the small brakes.
As far as I know.
Oh, okay.
And maybe some body things on the interior. So after reviewing that, even if I don't know Japanese, you can probably tell that this is the one that you would be interested in knowing the full details about.
Yeah. Be careful. You said this one had a repaint, right?
Yep.
So when you see a repainted vehicle and the body diagram there looks clean, like there's not a lot of scratches or dents. Yes, Max, still my foot. Be careful, because a repainted car, if it was only repainted even like a year or two ago, that repaint covered up a lot of the scratches. So these are new scratches on the new repaint. And sometimes if a vehicle is freshly repainted before auction, the sheet will come up extremely clean and you'll be like, wow, it's been immaculately cared for. It's a result of the repaint. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Auction repaint, most likely.
Yeah, that's what we tell a lot of people to be careful about. Like, so, we got a high quality repaint on the Impreza. That's rarely done.
They'll usually do a $3,000 paint or $2,000 paint just to make it look good for the auction, but the car's actually crap. Yeah,
and the repaint will not last long, and the paintwork was done hurriedly to cover up all the scratches and dents and damage that it had. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Next one, our dealer picks.
And let's go about those quite quickly.
I only picked these cars because they're Nissan Laurels, and I wanted to talk about Laurels.
See, this is the Laurel that I want really badly. Does it have a Y in it?
1976 Nissan Laurel. They want 5 million yen for this, which is $35,000 US.
Yikes.
A lot of money. Uses an L series engine just like the Fair Lady, but it's an L20 in this case. The car looks pretty good, but of course it is an older car. It's going to have the old car problems. But manual transmission in a sedan that looks like a miniature muscle car.
I love these. Love very cool, these. But finding a nice one that is not wrecked like this
is
one.
A third generation.
Yeah.
Second generation.
Yeah.
And they've changed over to triple carbs like they often do for these. If you get the look at the engine.
That steering wheel has to go, but that all stays. Lovely.
With the intake and the exhaust on the same side of the engine, because they didn't know how to make good engines back then. And it's only a 2-liter. It is the same engine as the Fair Lady in Japan, but the Fair Lady's smallest engine outside of Japan was a 2.4. But a 2-liter inline 6-cylinder is kind of crazy. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because if it's under 2 liters, you get cheaper registration in Japan. So there was this arms race to have the most premium 2-liter. So Toyota and Nissan both made an inline 6-cylinder 2-liter.
Wow.
That's the only reason they exist, is because of regulations.
No thank you to that steering wheel.
Oh,
that was
power mirrors.
Yeah.
1976.
Yeah.
Oh, I love these. Can you go back to the overall shot, like the exterior? I think these are such beautiful cars.
Very nice. Right. Good choice of wheels too.
Yeah.
That's the Mark 1. No, Mark 2. SSR Mark 2s.
If I were to join you in buying the old car, something like this is what I would.
It is
really
incredible, isn't it?
Is that a hint?
Maybe.
There's no Y.
What about the model code? Did they start to use the Y for the Laurels this early?
This is a C130.
Okay. Not yet.
So it's not a Y chassis yet.
Next car.
The next one is. Okay, so this one here is a 2001 Laurel. 1 year away from the final year. In 2002 was the final year of the Laurel. Nissan had at that time 4 big body cars at the same time, and that was stupid because they were going out of business at that time. Renault bought them in 2002, and they canned the car. So this is the final generation. It has the Skyline's engine, Skyline's drivetrain on a different chassis. It's a Y chassis, so the same as the Gloria, Cedric, Sima. So a little bigger, a little heavier, but a luxury Skyline. RB25 engine, turbo, 280 horsepower. This is the Neo version of the engine. Skyline brakes on it, eh?
Oh.
And different wheels, front and rear, so it probably has been drifted. They want $18,000 for this, which I find is pretty expensive. And then
I'm sorry, driver bucket seat, different front wheels,
it's a
rear,
drift car.
steering, the quick release steering wheel thing.
Yeah, that's too expensive.
Enough information that you need. Oh, missing interior? Perfect. Now we absolutely sure what it was used for.
The drift knob.
A drift knob, yeah.
But it is only 60,000 kilometers. And if you want a car that looks like this, a big body drift style sedan, sports sedan, these are 30% less expensive than Toyota's version of the same car.
Yep.
So the Chaser Mark II Cresta competed with the Laurel when they were new cars, both turbocharged rear-wheel drive manual capable.
Man, it's funny that these were luxury vehicles back then, and now their target market is manual transmission swap. Fair enough. The target market is completely different, right? From
this is not worth that much money.
Dad or grandpa, highway cruiser for the family, nice luxury sedan, to I want to go sideways and sling my car into walls.
Right.
Yeah.
When I first arrived in Japan, there were so many people that drove these that weren't car enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Okay, Q&A. I'm gonna rush this.
Okay, that's sorry we had to rush those cars in the end, but it's time for your questions and Pacific Coast answers. No, Cool JDM show answers.
I'm gonna let you take most of the talking here because
you rest.
I'm running out of voice.
I was worried that would happen. Yeah.
Okay, the people in the chat still need to wait a little bit because we have one question from the last show.
Okay.
From Bunpaynet. Can you give us an update on the Honda City Turbo 2?
Oh dear.
In the previous show you told us.
I guess I gotta talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, like 7 years ago, I bought a Honda City Turbo 2. It is one of my top 3 cars, and I bought it because just on a whim. It was in rough condition. I wanted to do a restoration video series on it at the time, but life got in the way. Work got in the way mostly.
Yeah.
Still one of my all-time favorite cars.
Me too.
And I ended up buying another one of them. I can't say too many details because we are very shortly going to be showing you why I bought a second one of them. I found one at auction, and it was only a week after I bought the Corolla. And I was like, I can't pass this up. A car like this never, ever comes up to auction and never will again. So I was like, if I don't get it now, I will regret this 10 years from now, no question. So I had to buy it. Now I got 2 Honda Cities. One of them I would consider in very good condition. But that's not the reason why I had to buy that one. This is a little bit of a foreshadowing for you, getting you excited. Getting me excited.
It's amazing.
And then
It's
another
fantastic.
one, which has its pros and its cons, but one of its cons is that you can see through the car because of rust holes.
Swiss cheese.
And we will announce in a video what we're doing with that. This person asked why we have 3 cities. We have a next generation city, a CZI as a race car, and you'll see that in our race car series on Drives Japan channel. So make sure you subscribe to that. The city race car, the CZI, is phenomenal. It is so amazing. There's nothing like it. So make sure that you subscribe for that.
Max,
was that all the questions?
It was. They are not for sale. To answer the rest.
Well, one of them will be, but yeah.
Hey, don't say too much.
Right? You'll have to find out on the next episode of the Cool JDM show, where we will probably not talk about that car, but a few episodes after that we may.
Maybe.
I would like to say that regarding the City Turbo 2, this is the car that revealed to me Derek has an extreme addiction to buying vehicles at auction. Extreme.
Wrong.
He cannot help himself when it comes to a City Turbo 2.
I can. You know how many times I've seen a City Turbo 2 come up and then gone, I won't buy that. This is difficult to do.
He has an addiction and he's working through it as best he can. However, he has 2 of them.
It has been 8 months since I made my last purchase.
Since you relapsed. I can't wait. The City Turbo 2, the original one you had, was here before me, and I've seen it driving a couple of times, I think.
You've driven in it, right?
I have ridden in it once, yeah, and it is definitely a special car, but I want you to realize your dream of having the City that you want. So I'm hoping that comes up soon.
When the new City came in and I took it for a little drive up and down the street, Mike was like, when you drove the Corolla, it was a completely different experience. You drove the City and you came in here and your face looked completely different. There was a glow about you that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And are you sure the Corolla is the right car for you? Is what you said.
Yeah. I didn't remember that until you mentioned it, but yeah.
I will say though, the Corolla and the City are 2 of my top 3 cars of all time.
Yeah.
So now
What's the third?
And
Find out next episode.
The next one is the first generation NSX.
Okay.
And I've said this before, to get one in the condition that I would like, I'd be spending over $100,000 on it, and I just can't. Not when we've got a house that we're building.
Yeah.
It's inappropriate use of funds.
Although for your top 3 cars, once you get the NSX, I think you're done. You don't buy another car after you get a first generation NSX.
Yeah, I wouldn't need one.
Yeah, I think that is like, you're like, okay, finished.
Yeah.
And honestly, for top cars, not that expensive.
Yeah.
If you were to ask most people what your top 3 cars are, there's a good chance you'll be well over $500,000.
Yeah.
Like your top car is an F50, right?
Yeah.
That's already several $100,000.
No, it's millions. It's like a couple million for an F50.
They're already past $1 million.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Is that a hint?
Max, Max,
Ferrari has a Y in it.
Max, do you know what your top cars are?
Not really, no.
Yeah, I don't think I've nailed down my list.
But you'd
Carrera
say it's
GT.
probably, Carrera GT, several $1 million car.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Okay, now I think we answered all the questions from the last show.
Yes,
so Max
I'm going through
has collated your questions that you've been sending over the course of the show. Thank you. Trying my best.
When you're done the show, I'm going to listen to you say collate again. I like that.
All right.
Some of it is going to go back to the industry topic stuff. So first one from
I will
Dark
cast
Horse
my mind back.
Do auction sheets show when the timing belt was changed?
It is up to the seller to write that as a sales point. It is not something that the auction inspector checks. It is a good sales point to write because many people are concerned about that when buying a used car. But unless the seller specifically decides, I am going to write this as a sales point, it will not show up on the sheet.
It's commonly written on sheets.
Yeah.
You'll see it on a number of sheets because it is an expensive service and sellers want that known.
Yeah, they're writing it so that you will pay more for the car. Just because it's...
Does it work? I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't
You
not buy a car because it hadn't had the timing belt done.
Depends on the car, I guess. Most of the cars we buy are enthusiast cars where it's expected that more maintenance is going to be spent on it.
Yeah, true.
For example, if you want to buy a GT86, the timing belt is due at 80K. If it's over 80K and it says timing belt changed, that's 200,000 yen that you just saved.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next question. There's a lot more I could say, but no point.
07 Sadida asks, can you speak to the auction to check how many times a car has been at auction?
You cannot. The auction has history of the previous times it has been through their system. Like they have an offline kind of internal system that they use for tracking things like that. That is not accessible to customers, and you can't ask the auction more questions about a car when you see it for sale. They would say, have a look at the car in person, or you see the auction sheet. That's it. They don't have a service where you can get more information like that, other than having the vehicle inspected at the auction.
Max, why are hearts showing up on the screen there?
Because people are reacting to what we say.
So every time a heart goes up, one person has clicked the react button?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
People are lovely. You can press that button more.
Oh, I see.
Do more.
Now I see more hearts.
100
Yeah.
Hearts.
Are there
100.
different hearts? Yeah.
Why are sunroofs so uncommon on Japanese cars in comparison to American market?
Because it's
I don't know.
freaking hot here.
Somebody says
I don't-
uncommon here.
I think it depends on the model. Sunroofs are very common here for
Yeah.
minivans and wagons and stuff like that. But I think sports car buyers in Japan are more interested in lower weight, I think.
Yeah.
Many of the best sports cars come with sunroofs. Maybe not even as an option here, but in North America they came as an option.
Next question from Sean. Did the uptight lady move away? Because I noticed you're revving every
I
time.
had a dream about her the other day where she was so friendly and she's like, I'm on a new medication. And so this is the new me. I'm back to normal.
You know, my experience, I went to the lot just the other day and she was walking somewhere rather slowly because that's what she does. I walked past her and she muttered something like under her breath and looked at me. And I just ignored her. I decided to be the adult and I ignored
new.
her. Yeah, it is new. I've usually been like, nani? Say that again?
Yeah.
But
one time I
she's
made her
crazy.
spell something out. She was like, you're here at nighttime repairing cars. And I was like, when? Because we aren't. We're there in business hours.
Yeah.
We don't ever go to our lot when it's outside of business hours to do anything.
Yeah.
There have been times where we've dropped off cars there at night. If it's like there's a
emergencies,
drop-off.
but it's like once in a blue moon.
Right. And we don't repair cars at night because there's no light.
Yeah.
She's like, you're repairing cars here at night. And I'm like, when? And she's like, you did it the other day. And I'm like, when was the other day? And she like,
Yeah, liar. She's a liar and a fiend.
and that's what I said too. I was pissed off that day, and I was like, you're a liar.
Usotsuki.
Wow.
Okay.
Next question. JP Prantna says, how can we search for Kei Trucks with lift dump beds on the site?
The lift dump bed is 1 in 300,000. You don't really look for
You
them.
mean the one that the scissor lift? Oh, if that's what they're looking for, yeah,
They are
super rare.
extremely rare, so you don't really look for them.
But if they're just looking for like a dump truck with the bed that tilts back,
It usually is said in the name of the truck, right?
yeah, they're pretty common. It'll be Suzuki Carry Dump or something like
So
that.
there is a filter for it on the site?
Be careful of the filters on the auction tool. The auction tool cannot see all of the data. It can see mileage, it can see color, it can see model codes and engine codes and things like that.
But if you're looking for a dump truck, how would you?
I would say you would have to search for the Kei truck that you're looking for. He did say Kei truck, right?
Yep.
Search for the Kei truck you're looking for and then have a look for dump. It will. Can we bring up the auction tool? I'm going to move the mouse but then not do crazy stuff.
Where was it? Here.
Let's try do this live. DA63T, please.
I think it won't show up with anything. I think the auction tool doesn't like when you do model and keyword together.
No, I'm not going to do keyword. So I would go here and this one, dump. So in the grade section.
Dump.
I don't know what Gunjo is, but it has a dump bed.
Dump trucks are fairly common, so it should be pretty easy to find. If you need a scissor lift, you might want to rethink your life choices.
Yeah.
We could maybe, and I'm not saying that we can do this, but the best option would be to buy a regular Kei truck and then take it to an outfitter and have them put a scissor lift into it. You're probably going to be spending 10 grand on the scissor lift though.
So I looked into that recently for a big customer of ours, and the wait time was 6 months minimum. And that was at one shop in Shikoku, and it was very difficult to find other shops. And we haven't gone and made more
Rethink
inquiries.
your life choices.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. The scissor lifts are very cool. The use case of them is very small.
Yeah.
He said he's a farmer. And
Buy a ladder. Several ladders, potentially. I don't know. It's probably for fruit picking, I would imagine, if they want a scissor
If you're doing fruit picking, buy a truck that has just that box on it that you can lift on a crane.
Yeah.
That would be way better because then you can control yourself left and right and stuff like that.
Yeah. How about we go next question?
Next question.
I pressed the wrong button. We got more questions than...
We had a lot of people commenting. Thank you for everyone who takes the time to comment. Although we don't get a lot of time to read everything, we often go through afterwards and see what we missed or what people are thinking. And yeah.
Question from Salim. Do you guys sell left-hand drive, and do you ship to the United Arab Emirates?
We do sell left-hand drive. Japan has, I would say, a good selection of left-hand drive vehicles. And do we ship to the UAE? Yes, we do. If you would like to take that further, I would suggest you contact us, and we'll give you better information.
Okay, AC Rain 7 asked, do we ever do dealership purchases or only auctions?
We purchase from dealerships fairly frequently. You will pay more money because a lot of those dealerships are buying the cars from auction and then selling them with their profit. Common misconception that dealers will do full services on the vehicle and clean them up and do all these sort of nice things. That does not always happen. So don't expect that. We can still buy from a dealership. We recommend doing it if you're after a rare car or something like that. Specific car is available at this dealership and you're like, the price is not as big of a deal to me. I want that car. I'm going to buy it. Oh yes, the dealership, the price that you see on websites like GooNet or Car Sensor will include the tax, and you don't pay the tax. So your price is often 10% less than you see.
Okay.
If other exporters are charging the tax, they are naughty, and they need discipline.
Probably no discounts.
Oh yeah, dealerships don't often offer discounts on the purchase price. We can sometimes get 50, 100,000 yen maximum, but what you see, for the most part, the price you see listed minus the 10% tax is what you'll pay for the vehicle. The dealer's going to give like a token discount.
Mike, I'm gonna need you in a sec.
All right. We'll be done here momentarily. Hit me rapid fire. I kind of like this. This is like a good mental agility test.
Opinions on Wellcab vans.
Ooh, fantastic. But
somebody's died in it.
Ooh.
The Wellcab vans are for
Disabled people.
Mobility
impaired people. I don't know.
People that are in their 90s. So there's some chance someone's died in one.
I don't think so.
No, I think so.
That's a hearse.
They go over a bump in the road. It's like
wheelchair unmounted.
done.
You get slung out. No, the Wellcab vans are
good way to get a generally low mileage, good condition van if you're going to turn it into a camper.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're getting a lot of Wellcab gear that you will not use for your family, and it will just be cumbersome and in the way. I've had dreams of some of them have like ramps that come out the back, so you can wheel a wheelchair right up from the back. I think that'd be sweet for a motorcycle van.
Oh yeah.
One that already has like, it's probably like
the platforms are too
low
small
mounted.
to put a motorcycle on, but you can modify it.
Yeah. And then just you got a perfect rig for carrying around a bike for track days and things.
Okay, then last question.
Also not expensive, the welfare vehicles. Very expensive to kit out and make, but then when not a lot of people want that because the use case is small, so
yeah,
good savings. Sorry, Max.
Last question. Where's Grant?
Grant is pregnant.
About that at the beginning.
Grant is pregnant.
Of the show.
He's taken paternity leave.
Twins.
Grant is having twins. He'll be back soon after the twins are arrived.
Grant's taking 3 days off per week for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see him for a while.
Grant's family's here visiting from overseas, so he's spending time with his family. And we miss him a lot, just like you do. We miss him greatly. And it is more difficult without a Grant here. We don't get fact checks. Anyway, he'll be back soon, and things continue as normal.
Okay, we're going to have to shut this down.
I talk too much, and Derek's lost his voice.
Yeah, it's become painful to speak.
No, Grant isn't actually having twins. I'm sorry. For the people who do know Grant, he's no. He's just taking time off to spend time with his family who's visiting from the US.
Thank you, everyone, for all of the hearts. I just noticed that today, and I love it. So more hearts, if you can think of it. And don't be afraid to put a comment in the comment section just to shout hi or something. We'd love that.
Yeah. Sorry, one more thing. DW, you're going to have to tell me how your twins are going. I think, I'm not sure if it's already happened, or I think it would have. I don't remember when we last talked about that, but I think about it from time to time, and I hope you're doing okay. Hope your family's, your growing family's doing good.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed the show. We're going to do another one next week.
4 months
Hopefully by
old.
then I'll be able to actually speak about things. So if you made it this far, thank you. I'm sorry. You got anything else to say before the end of the show?
No. Thank you all for tuning in. Great to see you. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for the questions. Keep coming. Try to guess my car if you like to, or like to make me feel better that people actually care about what I bought. No, I'm just kidding. Have a good week.
Bye, everybody.
Enjoy your life.
Goodbye.
See you next time. Bye.